Hello everybody and welcome back to another MoisTea gaming video. We are playing as the United States under the new patch of 1.3, I think it is. And we are trying to annoy people and take their territory. So we prodded the Spanish, they asked for a ceasefire, the battle was immense. We took out most of their entire fleet with 5 of our ships. And I'm hoping that in the surrender deal in just a moment, we should be able to take Cuba. Now, our next part of the expansion is Mexico. Now, to do that, we are having to prod the Germans, which we are nearly on with now. If we keep increasing tension with the Germans, they will probably come for a gander. However, I'm hoping to drag the British into it, just so that their fleet doesn't decide to have a dabble over here too much, because they have quite a sizable force in comparison to us. They have 25 ships, whereas we have 17. Now, I'm not scared of their fleet, but I would like to, if possible, not take many losses. We are building some more and everything else. I want to try, if possible, to stay at war for a while, just so we can increase our funding more, because we're trying to get this shipyard built, and that is going to cost money. Now, we've got a bit in the bank now, but still I want more, so let's have a dabble. We have 2 ships repairing from that last battle, and we've got a couple more being built. Our fleets consist of a battleship, which is of old design, 2 light cruisers and 2 torpedo cruisers. They're quite heavily armoured and should be impervious to other light cruiser damage. However, the torpedoes are a big threat. So in the research, trying to get some hull protection down with this torpedo protection 1. That should greatly increase our survivability records, as we took 1 or 2 torpedo hits and they really did do us in. We nearly lost a couple of ships due to them, whereas the rest of the gunfire we were quite impervious to, so torpedo protection is a must. We also need improved boilers and better engines. We do have the triple expansion steam engine now, which should increase our range and everything else significantly. And I'd also like a more fearsome battleship, because the only design we have is this old design, which is very slow, so I want a more modern one. But before we can do that, we need a bigger shipyard, so that's why we are pushing for the bigger shipyard now. I rushed into war just so that we would get more money from the government. Trying to get the max training improved, meaning our crew will be able to shoot the enemy better, and go for more hull protection. Boilers, I want the induced funnels. I had this fleet over by the west coast of America, but nothing's going to be able to touch us there, so we might as well bring it back around over here, seeing as we're going to be prodding the Germans. They have no ports or fleets over in this section, so I might as well bring it back around, especially in case they bring their mighty fleet down. We're going to keep prodding the Germans and keep aligning ourselves closer with the British. At some point we will be going to war with them, but right now I just want to get more territory for myself. And if that means prodding Germany for Mexico, then so be it. After that, I'm thinking of Italy, because they are friendly with Canada, but we'll do one at a time. I'm going to end the turn and see what happens. Well, this is the peace agreement with the Span. Oh, here we go. Right, we can steal their ship, but I'm not too interested. Minor victory? Are you mad? We want Cuba. That is the big one. And we'll leave the rest of it for now, just because then I don't have to defend it. So we'll take Cuba. I don't want these little ports because I'll have to defend it. I will just leave it. Alliance between Austria-Hungary and somebody else. Okay. Greece are after giving us some more money. Yes, we are allied with Greece. They're currently trying to purchase lots of our ships, which is driving our economy wonderfully. The Spanish are left with only 4 ships. That is not much. For some reason it's not currently under our control, but it might change in the next turn. Why is Cuba not ours? What? We went to war with them for Cuba and we didn't get it. Are you mad? If somebody can explain that to me, that would be good. It may be a bug, I'm not too sure, but we're going to keep prodding Germany, keep getting more friendly with Britain, and then we'll move on to Canada. We don't need to do a naval invasion for Canada, so this should work nicely. I've skipped a few months, as you can probably tell. We are now at the point where we can initiate a war with Germany really easily. And we've just started as well to reduce our friendship with Italy. Now, I've managed to get quite a bit of research done, so I'm going to actually refit our ships. So we'll have a dabble. First of all, let's see if we can improve on this battleship. This is it, the Kansas class. Oh no, sorry, yeah, the Kansas class. We do need some improvements on this now. We can go for a refit. Mark II guns have been upgraded, so these are now all obsolete. We have to remove those. See if we can stick some further ones on. No, we can't. Can we stick a 3-inch on? Yes, we can. We'll have to stick an older 3-inch on there for now. We can upgrade these with a 7-inch casemate rather than the 6-inch. Same on the back. Nice. Do need to shed the weight slightly, so we can hopefully do that with an improved engine. Excellent, and that also improves the range, so we can reduce that slightly. Excellent, that gives us more. 10,000 is what we're going for at the moment. There's no point trying to push it further. One thing I do want is the torp protection. Excellent, that will definitely help our survivability. We still only have a single bottom hull. We've got some improved gunpowder as well. White powder. Excellent stuff. We don't have... Oh, we've got gun cotton as well. This does increase the flash fire chance, but overall they're a lot better, more accurate, and penetrate deeper into the enemy. But I'm not too worried about flash fire, simply because we already have the lighter shells, the reduced shells as well. Do want a rangefinder though. We can get this involved straight away. Excellent. I want rangefinders on everything. This will increase the gun aiming speed significantly, getting those first shots off quicker. I do want radar of some kind at some point. Don't really have anything else that we can use apart from maybe increasing the armor on the ship itself or improving the speed, but we're very limited on what we can do here. The main improvement I wanted to get on was the rangefinder and the anti-torpedo with the improved gun cotton and white powder propellant. Just increasing the aft belt thickness. Try and get some of that offset moved slightly, but there's not much we can do. We don't have the weight allowance for it, but we're all good. This will have to do. We've got the improvements on that we wanted. We'll save this and try and get our ships sorted. Just want to improve these because I'm going to keep them until they sink probably, as soon we will have the ability to construct better ships with the improved shipyard. We'll save this design. This is the Huntington class, the torpedo cruiser. This is slightly lower on the range. We just need to improve it slightly. Hopefully, the steam engine will improve things. So this is another refit. It has improved it. The range has gone up, which is nice. I do still want those induced boilers though. Does it appear that we can stick torpedo protection on these? We can improve the powder and the bursting charge. Oh, here we go. Rangefinder. Yeah, we need one of them. I'd stick mines on, but I don't think there's really any point at this point. We could just stick it on. At some point we may end up laying mines. I might just leave it for the time being. The extra weight allowance, though, does give us the opportunity to potentially get some more torpedoes on these things, which is what they were designed for, but we were running low on room to do it. We can stick them quite far forward, like so. I don't think we'll get any more on. Or we will. Or will we? Or we might. We'll go for that. So these are going to be charging in at the enemy. Stick some down here as well. It's just over. We can't quite do that. So I might as well stick one at the back. That should help with the weight offset as well. That's as good as we're going to get these for the time being. We'll save that design and look at the other one. This is the Augusta class. More of a heavy hitter with the 5-inch guns. This could do with a refurb as well, or an improvement. Don't have any barbette protection on this when we really want to, but we can improve the steam engine first of all. We can get the rangefinder on and improve the gun cotton. Now we've got some more room. That sounds lovely. We could increase the armor, but that really wasn't a problem last time. It was just the torpedoes. I do want the barbette protection on, which we now have room for. We can legit just improve the armor on this thing and make it a fortress of some kinds, at least for a light cruiser anyway. And improve the speed, but there's no point until we've got the bigger boats speed up. We need that new battleship, really. So we'll just increase the armor on this thing. Might as well. Let's whack it up. We could do with a bit more on the front. Could even stick some more torpedoes on this thing. At the sides there, that making it a little bit more lethal. Improve the fore belt a little bit more. Don't want to do it too much though. Can improve the back. It doesn't actually add that much weight. Simply because when we're charging at the enemy, this is where we're going to be doing it from. Straight at the front. I want to be able to bounce these shots off. Doesn't need as much armor here though, because of the angle of attack usually. Main belt armor, yeah, we could give it a bit of a boost. Stick it to 5 if we can. Get it fairly armored up. This will do nicely if we can get it. 3 inches on the front, excellent. That will do for now. Sticking with the over 10-kilometer thing, I'm happy with that. We'll save that design. Now this is what we actually want. This is a battleship which we couldn't produce before simply because we didn't have the shipyard capacity, but now we do up to a point. It would be good if we could max this thing out, but we're not going to get that opportunity. We could make a ship right now and just see what it compares with in comparison to the coastal defense ship, because that is what we are using there on the other battleship, the only one we had available. The speed is already better. I'll at least do it on the ship's maximum optimal speed. We do want a minimum of 10,000 kilometers out of this thing. So let's have a look at these, what we can do. How much? That's all of it. This is reduced. We've got a small funnel, which is also 6. Can stick 2 of them on. Well, that would be enough, will it? Let's try and have a dabble. Yeah, that's all we're going to get. Even improving this engine isn't going to be enough. If we whack it right up there, it's still not going to be enough. So for now, this is still out of reach. I need a bigger belt. If I can get it bigger, I can then stick more funnels on this thing. Like that. So we need to improve it by another couple of thousand. That'll be another 2 years before we can start implementing these properly. That way we have the range that we need. So we better start building that shipyard. These have lots of 6 inches which we can use down here all along the sides. That is much improved from the previous one. Could even stick them here, all in the front. What else do we have room for? 4 inches? Yeah. Maybe a 5. There, those can occupy 5. What about 2s? Okay, not so much. So these are going to be a little bit precarious in terms of hitting torpedo boats. But we've still got enough. Hopefully they'll be accurate enough anyway. Won't take much to sink a torpedo boat with these. It would be nice if we had improved turrets for when this ship is out, so I'm probably going to concentrate a bit of research into getting these. It all depends on how much weight we can sustain. So we look already, compound, prepare. All this will be on. Should be armoured enough, but we'll have to see. But enough of that for now. We've got a plan. We can build this in about 2 years. I'm going to refit all of these ships before we get the war on the go with Germany. In 6 months' time, we can get the Mark II 9-inch guns. We'll start getting some of that in. We do want the improved guns on there when those battleships are ready. Could potentially see if we can get this armour quality improved as well before then. That would be ideal. But we do still want those induced boilers. If we can get that, the range will just be extended immensely, so we'll keep going with the boiler tech. We'll build more shipyard. This will cost us 153 million over 24 months. That will then allow us to get up to 17 and a bit. That sounds ideal. We're going to extend the fleet as well. Now you can't just build one of these straight away, but we can just build the other one and then refit it as soon as it's done. Just so we have enough ships, and in case any casualties happen, stick them all in Boston up here. That way we will have 4 different sections of fleet down here, and then just 1 on the west coast. All the fleets are now ready and re-equipped. We just need now to increase the tension with Germany one more time. I'm hoping that this will also drag them into war with Britain. That will be ideal. However, there's just been a bit of a dilemma. Canada is no longer friendly with Germany. Which is annoying. That was the whole point of the plan. However, that is now not working. Mexico is friendly. We're just going to have to be horrible to everybody, aren't we? But we're not going to have enough ships for that. Oh, this is frustrating. They actually ignored our threats there, which is ideal for the time being. So Russia, then? Quite friendly with us. See, we can't be that nasty to everybody. That's the only thing. We don't really have the ships to do a proper naval invasion. So we just need to do something local. If we were to press the war with Germany, we can't really do a naval invasion, but we could destroy their fleets. If we ally with Britain and then potentially grab some of this down here, then we can resupply. That might be the only play that we've got here. Right, we're about to go to war with Germany. See how that affects things. Another interesting thing is Spain has decided to go for Morocco. If they grab that, I don't know. But we are now at war with Germany. We can try and get Britain into it further. Just want access to their ports, really, so we'll keep trying that. Moving fleet down over to the Marshall Islands. See if we can do something down there. Supply will be limited though, so I don't know how fast we'll be able to do anything about it. Don't quite know where the German fleet is, but if we can get access to the British ones, British ports will be good. Now here we go. Yeah, it's not going to be great, but we need a budget minus 2%. Man, we're going to do it. Throwing everything into a bit of a nightmare. Go for Spain again as well. We'll try that. What's Russia think of it? The Russia are quite happy with us. We need Mexico to get away from them. Increase tension with Spain. Let's keep doing that. We do have our allies in Greece, which we can use their ships, which is quite nice actually. But where's the enemy fleet? That's the question. Looks like the German Empire stacked them all into one task force, so that's going to be a bit of a death stack. Just need to find it. Not sure, but we're going to grab these 3 fleets and stick them in a super stack and head over to Germany itself. See if we can prod them, and I'm going to have this fleet over here grab some of that. See what happens. Trying to prod Spain more as well. Oh, here we go. British Empire is now at war with them. Excellent. Confirmed we can resupply from the British ports now, so if we have a dabble over here, we should be good. Well, let's move closer. Right down there. See what happens. We have this fleet as well in here, which we can... Oh, we can't utilise. They're still in there. The Germans are going for a major offensive. All in Africa. Right, okay. Well, that's going to be interesting. Get these ships more down here, then we can move them over to this section right in here and start murdering some of their ships over there. 2 fleets still haven't come together. Still going to be prodding Spain as well because I want Cuba. I don't know why we didn't get it last time. Oh, I found the Death Fleet. That's over there. They're going to be engaging the British. They can soften them up. That will be glorious. Going to build some more ships while we can. Got another fleet now building in Portland. We do have the cash for it. We're still building this. See if we go for another in New York. That's now 10 more ships on the way. The other ones are nearly complete, so that will be an extra 15 ships. Got to be getting close to a possible naval invasion capacity at that point. Now we're going to go to war with Spain as well. Get rid of Spain, that would be good. It's all happening over here. Don't know who won that engagement, if there was one. No, they're still all happy. Don't think they engaged each other. No, there they are. These 4 light cruisers, we can stick them down here and harass at least 2 of them and start harassing this section. Get a fleet right in the middle of this. That should start hurting the Germans. Quite fortunate we're in a good position really for no one to really be hurting us themselves. I'm even going to build yet another fleet. Go for Philadelphia this time, I think. Apparently we lost a transport ship in the Caribbean. Nigeria, and yeah, it's all happening in Africa. The ships over in North Oceania are on low fuel. They're getting supplied by Port MoisTea, but it's just not a big enough port to do anything with it. We'll just leave them there. Might even have a dabble down here and see if we can get Cuba again. Trying to prod the Spanish. I'm going to split part of the fleet up and try and murder these Spanish over here. That should do their invasion a mess as well. German death stack and the British death stack are dancing around each other. Could leave them to it for the time being. Would be good if we could take a piece of Africa. The British are trying to grab it all from the Germans. We could send... Just need to hurt the fleets really. Need the death stack gone. Lots of transports being lost. We're murdering them in the Caribbean for sure. More transports lost. We're building it up now. British are losing a lot of transports though. Oh, here we go. We are now blockading the Spanish Empire. Nice. If we had those other ships built, we could start a naval invasion. This is good enough. Suffering from stagnation now. Even more transport losses. We have ships surrounding Spain quite thoroughly, all the way around here, here, and now down here as well. And down here, we are now also invading them. Might even move this fleet over to the Philippines. We can be supplied by those. British ports will do that. Oh, we're finally going to get it. Induced draft boilers. That will be a big one. This means we can actually potentially consider getting some smaller ships involved, like torpedo boats, as they will finally have the range and they are excellent at taking out enemy transports and such. The head of the Spanish Admiralty has been removed. Excellent. And we're still smashing them. Germans must have engaged the British. There are a couple of ships down. So are the British. That's interesting. Makes it more manageable to go up there. I'm hoping that they engage again. With the induced boilers, I was thinking of potentially getting some of these armoured cruisers going. They look quite nice, but we don't quite have the range. Still, the engine efficiency is a stupid percentage. I think they're just an old design. Armoured cruiser, we're not going to get it either. With the torpedo boats, we're not going to get there either. I need 10,000 or it's just not good enough. We will get it though with the battleship once we have the bigger shipyards, which is lovely. I know you can increase the draft on a ship to increase the fuel stowage, but I don't like to do that too much, especially on the smaller boats that just bobble around. We do have the Mark II 9-inch guns though as well. They will be marvellous. It is debatable if they're going to be able to hit the enemy, penetrate through at least, so we can increase their caliber and it will stay in the Mark II configuration, so that does improve it significantly. It's going to have to be enough. If it isn't, then we'll just have to use the torpedoes, but we're going to have to see what the enemy come up with. Looking at some of these offensives, it looks like Italy is going for Sudan. France is going for Ethiopia, which is funny. We've got the Germans trying to push out the British over here. Then we've got the British trying to push out the Germans over here and trying to take this neutral country as well. Spanish have a couple of the ships over here. Not sure why they are in this direction, but we've still got our fleet floating around. I'm hoping that they can murder some of them. They are on offensive duties. I might stick them in the Philippine Sea, just over here, seen as all of these are technically in the Philippine Sea as well. That's North Oceania. It'll at least do them in a bit over in this direction, and potentially these two as well. We can get all of our battleships built. We could potentially go for a naval invasion. Two countries I want to get down on relations is Italy, because they have Chile and Colombia. I want to try and take those two countries. And Russia, because I want to try and take Mexico and Brazil. That would be lovely. Do need to get on the mainland somewhere though, on Europe, at least in Africa. But we do want to try and take Canada and Mexico and run our way down here. Our shipyard is built. We're going to try and increase it further by another massive amount. Let's have a look at the ship design. Excellent. We can now build a 16,000 ton battleship. Let's see what we can do with this. Going to have it so it meets the minimum optimal speed of 18 knots. That's my limit. We need it to get to 10,000. We'll not use these, we'll use these ones. Like so. So that reaches that. Want the new steam engine in there. Excellent. We're going to want a balanced rudder because they take forever to get anywhere. Go for that. Do we go for induced? Oh, that increases the range significantly. That will give us a lot more room. 64%. That's 60%. Nice. That will give us more room to start putting more armor and things on this. It does have a couple of downsides, but it's not... No, I'm not too bothered. Definitely think it's worth the extra 5% or so. Compound armor, that's the best one we've got. Anti-torpedo, citadel. We'll look at the armor in a moment. Need this thing to have standard quarters. Now let's have a look at the main towers. Which one is best? Oh, long range accuracy on this is significant. We need that. Bung that on, and then we can go for the same thing on the back. Long range accuracy will be key. Can't stick any barbettes on this thing, it's not quite big enough, but main guns, gonna have to go for the 9-inch guns, but stick them, make them a little bit bigger perhaps. Dual, and then potentially increase the diameter. Now we just need to do a comparison. They are more accurate. They won't do as much penetration, but they reload a hell of a lot quicker. I think we'll go for them just because of the accuracy, and they also have nearly 2 kilometers more range on them, so those are better. We'll keep them. Whether they pen the enemy ships or not is debatable, but hopefully they will. Stick a rangefinder on this thing. Go for the lighter shells. That will reduce it, but they are much more accurate now. Reduced shells. In the main shells, we're going to go for increased armor piercing. And in the other ones, we'll go for a standard. Going to get some white powder in and the gun cotton. That has increased the penetration and the accuracy further. We need a barbette on this thing. We don't want it to be exploding with a Grand Inferno. Now then, casemates. 6 inches are brilliant. These can take out pretty much any cruiser, light cruiser that comes near it. So these are going to be absolutely lethal to them. Don't see any point in going for a reduced size. The only problem would be weight, I suppose. But I definitely think it's worth it. These are now more armoured up. Well, not armoured up, but armed, better armed than in the light cruisers that we have, even though they are only slightly slower. We can stick some more on. We can stick some 5 inches on there. Those are the biggest guns that we have on the light cruisers that we have. Can't seem to stick any more on. Can we stick any 2s on? Yes, we can. Up on there, we'll do that. We'll go for a 2 or a 3. The 2s are much more accurate. Only at short range, though. We'll go for the 3s. Hopefully they'll do some damage to the torpedo boats, which are no doubt going to be coming down on us. Stick another double barrel on there. Now this is the problem that we have. Weight. One thing is for sure though, the chances of a deck penetration aren't really that high. But even if you go for the 13-inch guns, the maximum that's going to go in is a 0.8. So let's just say that there's no chance of that really hitting. So we could go for, because we've got a plus 38% there, call it 40. We go for 0.5, which is basically the minimum. If a 11-inch gun hits it at a million miles away, we could even go for less than that. 0.3, it should protect us because we've got a little bit extra on there as well. We'll go for that. Some people might be screaming at me, but if there's such a low chance of it happening, I'll take the risk. The technology isn't here for ships to be doing such long-range bombardments. The accuracy is not there. I'm going to stick the front top armor of everything onto 0.3 like that. That's beautiful. And now we even have some more to play with. We need to protect our funnels and things, so if we look at the 5-inch gun, we're looking at 0.5 point blank range for a HE round. So there's no way that we're going to be able to protect the superstructure too much, but it doesn't take much weight to whack it up to at least 1. That way, no armor-piercing shells can actually... Sorry, HE shells, which cause the most damage, can actually do anything significant to it. I missed one, the top on the 9.9-inch guns as well, also reduced. We do have armor for these casemates. We do want them to be highly protected. Don't want any sudden explosions to happen, and we also don't want, you know, to be able to take the guns out. So if we have a look at point blank range, these are going to go through 7.4, so a cruiser really maximum. The only thing that's going to be able to pen this side is a battleship, or even maybe an armored cruiser, but I don't see many of them having bigger than a 6-inch gun. I suppose they can have 9s on there, but there's no way we can protect them against that. It's all on full whack anyway, 9.6 for the 6 inches. So we'll be happy with that, I think. Do want this thing to be able to protect itself against other battleships, though. So we could do with a increase in belt armor, but that is going to be significant. But we do have a plus 40%. So this will be probably around 16 inches worth of protection, which our own guns cannot penetrate unless it is not even at point blank range. So I'm happy with that. We do still have a little bit of weight left to play with, so it's going to be more of a case of armoring up the fore and the aft belts, and even more on the structure potentially, if we can get it so that the structure is more protected. For example, these armor piercing rounds won't be able to go through. That would be nice. 4-inch. Get it to 4. See, that is some highly defended superstructure. So then you've got an extra 40% on top of that. We talked about 5.5, which a 5-inch gun is going to struggle with to get through. So I'm more than happy with that. Might as well just stick a little bit more on the belts now. Try and counteract some of that weight offset, and I think that will be enough. Maybe a little bit more on the babette, but how much more we can really do there. That's it, so maximum. That is going to be enough, I think. See if we can get some of these on the sea. It meets my quota of 10,000 kilometers. We do a quick comparison. That way, it does not work. So having those induced boilers is definitely working. It gives us more weight to play with. We can't go down that far. There we go. There we go. Happy with that. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. This is going to be called the Washington, apparently. Happy days. Wow, this thing has a crew of 944. That's a lot more than the previous ones, which were only around 500-ish. And on that note, I'm going to leave this there. I hope you have enjoyed. I know there's not been any combat, but I hope you've enjoyed what's going on to the build up to more combat. Thank you very much for watching if you have, and I will see you in the next episode. Let me know in the comments any thoughts of what you have with the ship and any of the other strategies that we've done so far. Thank you again. Bye-bye.